Ambassador Telos stood before the Galactic Assembly, his four thin arms shaking as he spoke. His skin was pale blue and almost see-through. His people were not built for war. They were scientists, teachers, healers. For 10,000 years, the Confederation had lived in peace across 12 star systems. Now only 3 remained. "Please," Telos said, his voice breaking. "They have burned 9 of our worlds. They kill without mercy. They take our children. They destroy everything we have built. We beg you, send help." The assembly hall was silent. Representatives from 100 species sat in their seats and said nothing. The Dominion was too powerful, too cruel. No one wanted to make enemies with them. The ambassador spoke first. "We are sorry for your loss, but they cannot risk war with the—" The representative nodded. "We must think of our own people first." One by one, every major power refused. They offered sympathy. They offered prayers, but no ships, no soldiers, no help. Telos returned to his quarters that night and wept. His prime had perhaps 1 week before the armada arrived. His wife was there, his children, everyone he loved. His assistant, a young named, entered the room quietly. "Ambassador, there is one option we have not tried." Telos looked up. "What option?" Pulled up a star map on the display screen. She pointed to a small yellow sun in an uncharted region of space. "This system, it is marked in our oldest records. Our ancestors visited it once, thousands of years ago." Telos studied the map. The system had no name, only a warning label in ancient script: "Do not approach." Telos shook his head. Even if something lives there, what could they possibly do against the— "I do not know," admitted, "but we have tried everything else. What do we have to lose?" Telos thought of his family, his burning cities, his dying people. "Send the signal," he said. The message was simple. It contained coordinates, a brief explanation of their situation, and 3 words repeated over and over: "Please help us." The signal traveled across empty space for 2 days before it reached a small blue planet called Earth. Admiral Park received the transmission at 3:47 a.m. Earth time. She was already awake. At 62 years old, she had learned to sleep lightly. Too many wars, too many nightmares. She read the message 3 times, then watched the attached footage. Cities in flames, ships falling from the sky, bodies in the streets. By morning, she had called an emergency meeting of the Global Security Council. "This is a trick," said General, the American representative. "We've stayed hidden for 50 years. Why reveal ourselves now?" "Because people are dying," replied. "Aliens are dying," corrected. "Not our problem." Doctor, the council's expert, spoke up. "Admiral, what do we actually know about the—" Pulled up the data. Peaceful civilization. No military to speak of. They've never attacked anyone. They invaded them for resources and territory. And the empire builders. They've conquered 47 species in the last 2 centuries. They don't negotiate. They don't take prisoners. They simply kill until nothing is left to resist. The room was quiet. Prime Minister of the Korean Federation leaned forward. Admiral Park, you are recommending we intervene. Yes, sir. You understand what that means. The galaxy will learn we exist. We will have enemies. Nodded. Sir, we already have enemies. We just haven't met them yet. The galaxy is not a friendly place. We've known that since first contact. The question is not whether we will face threats. The question is what kind of species we want to be when we face them. She turned to the full council. 50 years ago, we found out we were not alone. We saw how dangerous the universe was and we chose to hide. We built our fleets in secret. We prepared for the day when someone would come to destroy us. But is that all we are? A species that hides and waits to be attacked. She pointed at the frozen image on the screen. A child running from flames. They asked for help, not from us specifically, from anyone. They sent a message into the darkness, hoping someone would answer, and we received it. We can pretend we didn't. We can go back to hiding, or we can show the galaxy what humans really are. The vote took 4 hours. In the end, it was not close. The United Earth Defense Fleet mobilized within 12 hours. 247 warships, crewed by men and women from every nation on Earth. Engineers ran final checks. Pilots said goodbye to families. Marines loaded weapons and armor. Commander stood on the bridge of the flagship, the UEDS Indomitable. He was 45 years old with a face and calm eyes. He had fought in 3 wars on Earth before joining the space fleet. He had seen the worst of humanity, but he had also seen the best. His tactical officer, lieutenant, approached with a, "Sir, all ships report ready for fold space jump." Nodded. Time to destination. 14 hours. Looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, people were dying. People who had done nothing wrong except exist in a universe that punished weakness. "Tell the fleet to engage drives," he said. "We're going to war." The ships vanished into fold space one by one, leaving Earth behind. They did not know if they would return. They did not know if they could win. But they went anyway. Because someone had asked for help. And humans always answer. Ambassador Telos had stopped eating 3 days ago. There was no point. The Armada would arrive soon, and when it did, everyone on Prime would die. Food seemed like a waste. He sat in his office, staring at the communication screen. No replies had come, not from the Galactic Assembly, not from any of the 30 emergency messages he had sent. and certainly not from the mysterious system. Entered quietly. Ambassador, the defense minister wishes to speak with you. Tell him I am busy. Sir, he says it is urgent. Everything is urgent now. Telos waved his hand tiredly. What does he want? Looked at her. Our sensors have detected ships entering the system. Telos felt his heart stop. The already. No, sir. Unknown signatures, 247 vessels. They are not in our database. Telos stood so quickly that he knocked over his chair. Where? They emerged from fold space near the outer planets. They are moving toward Prime at high speed. For a moment, Telos could not breathe. Unknown ships could mean anything. Pirates, mercenaries, another enemy. But 247 vessels was not a raiding party. That was a fleet. He ran to the command center. The room was chaos when he arrived. Officers shouted at each other. Screens flashed with data. Defense Minister stood in the center, his pale face even paler than usual. Ambassador said, "We have a problem." "I can see that. What are those ships?" "We do not know. They are not any species we recognize. Their vessels are strange." Telos looked at the main display. The unknown fleet was displayed as red dots moving through the system. The computer had generated rough images of the ships based on sensor data. They were ugly. Ships were elegant, smooth curves, flowing lines, beautiful to look at. These ships were the opposite. They were blocky and angular, heavy armor plating. No windows, no decoration. They looked like weapons given form, like violence made metal. "They are hailing us," an officer reported. He looked at Telos. "Should we respond?" Telos thought of his family, his city, his world. What choice did they have? Open the channel. The main screen flickered and a face appeared. Telos had never seen anything like it. The being had only 2 arms, 2 eyes, pinkish-brown skin, short dark hair. A scar ran down one side of its face. It was terrifying. The being spoke. Its voice was deep and calm. "This is Commander of the United Earth Defense Fleet. We received your distress signal. We are here to help." The command center went silent. Telos found his voice. You came from the..." The being showed its teeth. Telos flinched before realizing it was some kind of expression, not a threat. "We prefer to call it home," the commander said. Telos felt tears forming in his eyes. "You came. You actually came." "We did. How long until the arrive?" Defense Minister checked his screen. 3 days, perhaps less. "Then we have work to do. I am sending my tactical officer to coordinate with your defense forces. Her name is Lieutenant. Please give her full access to your military networks." Bowed deeply. "Of course, whatever you need." The channel closed. Telas stood frozen, unable to believe what had just happened. Ambassador said softly, "Are you all right?" "Someone came," Telas whispered. "Someone actually came." Lieutenant arrived at the command center 2 hours later. She came in a small shuttle, accompanied by 4 human soldiers in heavy armor. The officers stared at them with a mixture of fear and wonder. Was young by human standards, only 32. She had black hair tied back in a tight bun and sharp eyes that missed nothing. When she walked, she moved like a predator. Every step was careful. Every movement was planned. She studied the defense systems for 3 hours without speaking. Then she called Defense Minister to her station. "Your weapons," she said. "They are designed to disable, not destroy." Nodded proudly. "Yes, our philosophy is to neutralize threats without causing unnecessary death." Was quiet for a moment. "That is admirable, but the will not disable your ships. They will destroy them. They will kill every person aboard and then bomb your cities until nothing remains." Went pale. "We know this, but we cannot change who we are." "I am not asking you to change." Pulled up a tactical display. "I am asking you to let us do what we do best. Your ships will provide support and defense. Our ships will do the fighting." "But you are outnumbered. Our sensors show the fleet has 300 warships." Smiled. It was not a warm expression. "We know." "How can you win against such odds?" "Minister, do you know what a is?" He shook his head. "Earth has extreme temperatures, toxic atmosphere, predators on every continent, diseases that kill millions, natural disasters that destroy cities. Our gravity is crushing. Our sun burns our skin. Every living thing on our planet is trying to kill every other living thing." As she leaned forward. "And we became the dominant species anyway. We did not evolve to avoid conflict. We evolved to win it. They are strong. They are brutal, but they have never fought anything like us." On the bridge of the Indomitable, Commander watched the planet through the main viewport. It was beautiful. Blue oceans, green forests, white clouds. It reminded him of Earth. Captain, Commander of the Marine Assault Forces, stood beside him. She was shorter than but twice as dangerous. 30 years in the military had made her into something between a soldier and a weapon. "They are scared of us," she observed. Nodded. "Can you blame them? We arrived from a system their ancestors marked as deadly. We look nothing like them. Our ships look like war machines." "They are war machines." "Yes, but they have never needed war machines. They have never had enemies until now." Turned to face her. "When the fighting starts, I need your Marines ready for boarding actions. They like close combat. They think they are the best at it." Cracked her knuckles. "They have never met humans." "No, they have not." Looked back at the planet. Let us make sure they remember this lesson. 3 days passed. The waited, the humans prepared, and across the system the first ships emerged from fold space. The battle for Prime was about to begin. Warlord sat on his command throne and smiled. His flagship, the Fist of Conquest, was the largest warship in the Dominion. Behind him, 300 vessels waited for orders. It was the greatest armada he had ever commanded. And soon it would crush the last stronghold. "My lord," his sensor officer reported, "we are detecting unknown ships in orbit around Prime." Raised one eyebrow. They had 4 eyes, skin like stone, and bodies built for violence. Each of them stood over 2 meters tall and weighed as much as 3. They were predators, conquerors. For 200 years, no species had successfully resisted them. "Unknown ships?" asked, "Show me." The main screen displayed the orbital formation, counted the vessels, 247. They were ugly, boxy things with no elegance. "What species?" he demanded. "Unknown, my lord. Their ships do not match any records in our database. The design appears primitive." Laughed. "Primitive. Some backwater species thinks they can challenge the Dominion. This will be over before midday." His communications officer spoke up. "My lord, the unknown fleet is hailing us." "Put them on screen. Let me see what sort of fool has come to die today." The screen flickered and a face appeared. Studied it with interest. 2 eyes instead of 4. Pale brown skin. No claws, no fangs, no visible weapons. The creature looked weak. "This is commander of the United Earth Defense Fleet," the creature said. "You have committed acts of genocide against a civilian population. The United Earth Defense Fleet demands your immediate and unconditional surrender. You have 60 seconds to comply." The bridge went silent for a moment, then began to laugh. His officers joined him. The sound filled the bridge like thunder. "Surrender," roared. "You demand that I surrender. I have 300 warships. You have less than half that number. Your vessels are primitive junk, and you dare threaten me." The human's expression did not change. 50 seconds. Leaned forward. "I am warlord of the Dominion. I have conquered 40 star systems. I have killed millions. I have never lost a battle, and you think you can frighten me." 30 seconds. "When this is over, I will take I will burn your cities. I will enslave your people. And I will mount your head on my wall as a reminder of what happens to those who challenge the—" 10 seconds. Grinned. "Do your worst." The human nodded once. "As you wish." The channel closed. For a moment, nothing happened. Opened his mouth to give the order to attack. Then the human fleet moved. Had seen many battles. He had fought species that used energy weapons, kinetic weapons, biological weapons and weapons made of pure light. He thought he had seen every tactic, every strategy, every form of combat that existed in the galaxy. He was wrong. The human ships did not maintain distance. They did not try to outmaneuver the fleet. They charged directly into it. "What are they doing?" shouted. "They are coming straight at us." "My lord, their speed is beyond our projections. They are accelerating faster than any known vessel." The first human ship reached the line. It was small compared to warships, but it did not slow down. It flew between two cruisers and unleashed weapons that had never seen before. Metal rods the size of trees shot from the human ship at impossible speeds. They punched through armor like it was paper. Both cruisers exploded within seconds. "What was that?" screamed. "Unknown weapon, my lord. Some form of kinetic accelerator. Our shields cannot stop it." All around the fleet, human ships were engaging. They moved like predators, fast and vicious. They did not fight the way civilized species fought. There was no elegance, no honor, only violence. A destroyer fired its main cannon at a human vessel. The shot hit the human ship directly. The human ship kept coming. Its armor was scorched but not broken. It returned fire with a barrage of missiles that tore the destroyer apart. "Their armor," the sensor officer said, his voice shaking. "It is designed to absorb damage. They expect to be hit. They expect to take punishment." "Impossible," whispered. "No one builds ships like that." "My lord, they come from a... Their entire existence is based on survival." On the bridge of the Indomitable, Commander watched the battle unfold. His face was calm. "A status report," he ordered. Lieutenant checked her screens. "Formation is breaking. They cannot handle our close-range tactics. They expected us to fight from a distance like everyone else." Casualties: 7 ships damaged, 2 destroyed. Losses are at 64 vessels and climbing. Nodded. "Tell Captain to launch the Marine assault. Target the enemy flagship." Grinned. "Yes, sir." Across the battle, boarding pods launched from human ships. Each pod carried 10 Marines in powered armor. The armor made them stronger, faster, and nearly impossible to kill. Each Marine carried weapons designed to fight in close quarters. The pods slammed into ships and began cutting through hulls. Captain led the assault on the Fist of Conquest herself. Her pod breached the hull near the engine section. She was the first one through. A soldier was waiting for her. He was huge, nearly 3 meters tall, with claws that could tear through metal. He roared and swung at her head, ducked under the blow, and drove her combat knife into his throat. The collapsed. "Move," she ordered her squad. "Bridge is 6 decks up. We take it, we end this." They fought through the corridors. They were strong and fierce. but they had never faced an enemy that refused to die. Marines fell. Marines kept fighting. A soldier with a broken arm continued firing with his other hand. Another Marine, bleeding from a stomach wound, held a corridor alone for 3 minutes while her squad advanced. Humans did not surrender. Humans did not stop. Reached the bridge in 47 minutes. The doors were sealed. She ordered her demolition expert to blow them open. When the smoke cleared, she saw Warlord surrounded by his elite guards, 12 of the biggest she had ever seen. "Kill her," ordered. The guards charged. Raised her rifle. When it was over, she stood in a room full of bodies. Her armor was dented and cracked. Her rifle was empty. She had killed 9 of them herself. Stared at her with all 4 eyes. "What are you?" Removed her helmet. Blood ran down her face from a cut on her forehead. "I am human." "You cannot win. The Dominion will send more fleets. We will destroy your world." "Maybe," raised her sidearm, "but you will not be there to see it." The shot echoed across the bridge. Outside, the fleet was dying. Ships burned. Escape pods fled. The battle was over. Humans had won. But this was only the beginning. News traveled fast across the galaxy. Within hours of the Battle of Prime, every major species knew what had happened. The mighty Dominion, conquerors of 47 civilizations, had been defeated. Their armada was destroyed. Their warlord was dead. And the species that had done it was completely unknown. The Galactic Assembly called an emergency session. Representatives from 100 worlds crowded into the Great Hall, talking over each other in a dozen different languages. "Who are these humans?" demanded the ambassador. "Where did they come from?" "Our records show nothing," said the representative. "Their system was marked as a. We assumed nothing intelligent could survive there. Obviously, we were wrong." The assembly requested all available data on the Sol system. What they found made them afraid. Earth was classified as a Category 7. The highest rating was Category 10, which meant complete hostility to all life. Category 7 meant a world where survival was possible but extremely difficult. The report listed the dangers: extreme temperature ranges from frozen poles to burning deserts, an atmosphere filled with corrosive oxygen, a surface covered mostly in liquid water which was deadly to most galactic species, constant seismic activity, violent weather events, and worst of all, a biosphere filled with predators. "Their planet has creatures called sharks," one analyst reported. "They are swimming predators with hundreds of teeth. The humans swim in the same water for recreation. They have insects that carry deadly diseases. The humans live alongside them. Their largest land predators weigh over 500 kilograms. The humans hunt them for sport. The assembly members looked at each other with growing horror. These beings evolved in this environment, the analyst continued. They did not merely survive, they conquered it. They became the dominant species on a world that tried to kill them every single day. On Prime, Ambassador Telos struggled to understand his new allies. He visited the human fleet 3 days after the battle. The ships were being repaired. Damaged armor was replaced. Weapons were reloaded. The humans moved with quiet efficiency, like they had done this many times before. Commander met him in the Indomitable's observation deck. Ambassador said, bowing slightly, "Thank you for coming. Thank you for saving my world." Telos looked out at the stars. "I must confess, Commander, I do not understand your people." "What do you not understand?" "Everything." Telos turned to face him. "We sent a distress signal into empty space. We expected nothing. We had no reason to believe anyone would respond, especially from yet you came, you fought. Your people died for strangers. Why?" It was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was soft. 300 years ago, my people nearly destroyed ourselves. We fought wars over land, over resources, over ideas. We built weapons that could burn entire cities in seconds. We poisoned our air and water. We came within 1 generation of extinction. He pulled up an image on the display screen. Earth, seen from space, blue and green and white and beautiful. Do you know what saved us? Not strength, not technology, cooperation. Somewhere along the way, enough of us decided that helping each other was more important than winning, that the strong should protect the weak, not prey on them. He turned to Telos. "When we received your signal, we had a choice. We could ignore it, stay hidden, stay safe, or we could do what we believe is right." He shrugged. "It was not a difficult choice." "But you owe us nothing. We are strangers." "Yes, but that does not matter. When someone asks for help, you help them. That is who we are. That is who we choose to be." Telos felt tears forming in his eyes. "I have lived for 200 years, Commander. I have met many species. I have never met one like yours. We are not perfect. We have done terrible things, but we have also done beautiful things. We contain both. All humans do." Back at the Galactic Assembly, the debate continued. Some representatives wanted to form alliances with the humans immediately. Others were terrified and wanted to avoid them. A few suggested attacking Earth before the humans became too powerful. "They defeated the with 200 ships," one ambassador argued. "What happens when they have 2,000, 10,000? "They came to help another replied. "They did not attack anyone who did not attack them first." "For now, what about later? Violence is in their nature." Analyst, part of Earth's diplomatic team, addressed the assembly. She was young but spoke with confidence. "I understand your fears," she said. "Humans are different from you. We come from a harsh world. We evolved through struggle and competition. But that does not make us monsters." She activated a display showing images of Earth, families in parks, children in schools, artists creating beautiful things, scientists working together. "We are capable of great violence, but we are also capable of great love, great sacrifice, great kindness. The same instincts that make us dangerous also make us protective. When we see someone in need, we feel a compulsion to help. It is built into us." She looked around the assembly. "You can fear us, you can try to avoid us, but eventually you will need help. Your enemies will come. Your worlds will face danger. When that day arrives, you can face it alone, or you can stand beside a species that has been fighting since the day it was born." She paused. "We did not come to the stars to conquer. We came because we looked up at the night sky and wondered what was out there. We came because exploration is who we are. And yes, we brought our weapons, because we know the universe is dangerous. We know there are species like the who will hurt others for power, and we refuse to let that happen without a fight." The assembly voted 3 days later. No military action against Earth. Instead, they invited humanity to join the galactic community as a recognized species. It was not friendship, not yet, but it was a start. On Prime, the began rebuilding. Human engineers helped repair damaged infrastructure. Human doctors treated the wounded. Human soldiers patrolled the streets to keep order. And in the darkness of space, far from Prime, the Dominion received news of their defeat. Supreme Commander, the true ruler of the Dominion, listened to the reports in silence. When they were finished, he stood. "Mobilize the entire fleet," he ordered. "Every ship, every soldier, every weapon." "My lord," his advisor asked, "what is the target?" His eyes burned with cold rage. "Earth itself. We will show these what true power means." The greatest battle in human history was coming, and Earth would face it alone. Earth's sensors detected the Armada 3 weeks before it arrived. 800 warships, the entire military strength of the Dominion. Supreme Commander had emptied every shipyard, every garrison, every colony. He was coming to destroy humanity or die trying. Admiral Park stood before the Global Security Council one last time. "This is it," she said. "Everything we built, everything we prepared, it all comes down to this." Some council members argued for negotiation. Others suggested evacuation. A few wanted to surrender. Silenced them with a look. 50 years ago, we learned we were not alone. We saw the galaxy and knew it was dangerous. So we prepared. We built in secret. We trained in silence. We made ourselves ready for a day we hoped would never come. She activated the strategic display. Across the solar system, hidden facilities lit up. Shipyards inside asteroids, weapons platforms on moons, bases buried beneath ice on frozen worlds. The fleet you saw at Prime was not our full strength. It was not even half. The Council stared in amazement. We have 600 warships ready for combat. Another 200 can be launched within days. We have orbital defense platforms around Earth and Mars. We have ground-based weapons that can hit targets in high orbit. Prime Minister looked at the display. Admiral, why did we not reveal this before? Because secrets are weapons too. The thought we were weak. They thought Prime showed our full strength. They were wrong. She turned to face the Council. We did not survive ice ages, asteroid impacts, plagues, and world wars by giving up. We did not become the dominant species by surrendering. The want a fight. We will give them one they will never forget. The vote was unanimous. Humanity would stand. Commander took command of the defense fleet. Admiral coordinated from Earth's surface. Every human who could fight was given a weapon. Every human who could not fight helped in other ways. The days passed. The fleet grew closer. On the final night, recorded a message for his family. I do not know if I will survive tomorrow, he said, but I want you to know that I am not afraid. I am proud, proud to be human, proud to stand with others who refuse to bow. Whatever happens, remember that we faced the darkness together, and we did not run. The Armada arrived at dawn, Earth time. 800 warships emerged from Fold space at the edge of the solar system. It was the largest fleet in galactic history. Supreme Commander stood on his command bridge and smiled. There it is, he said, looking at the distant blue dot that was Earth. Today we end it. His sensor officer reported, enemy fleet detected, 612 vessels in defensive formation, additional platforms detected in orbit. He laughed, still outnumbered, still outmatched. Open a channel. Admiral's face appeared on his screen. This is Admiral Park of the United Earth Defense Fleet. You have entered sovereign human space with hostile intent. Turn back now or face the consequences. Leaned forward. You defeated one fleet through tricks and luck. Today you face the full power of the Dominion. Surrender and your deaths will be quick. Smiled, it was cold and sharp. You wanted to know what a species can do. Let me show you. The channel closed. The Battle of Saul began. Human ships surged forward to meet both fleets crashed together in a storm of weapons fire. Ships exploded. Debris scattered across space. Thousands died in the first minutes. But humans did not break. Lieutenant commanded a destroyer now. She led her ship into the heart of the enemy fleet, firing everything she had. When her weapons ran empty, she rammed a damaged cruiser and kept fighting from the wreckage until rescue ships arrived. Captain led Marine boarding parties from ship to ship. Her soldiers took vessel after vessel, fighting through corridors filled with warriors. They did not stop. They did not rest. On day 3, a dreadnought broke through the defense line. It was the largest ship had, and it began bombarding the Pacific coast of Earth. Missiles rained down on coastal cities. Buildings collapsed. People ran. For a moment, it seemed like Earth was lost. Then made a decision. All ships focus fire on that dreadnought, everything we have. Sir, if we concentrate our fire, the rest of the fleet will overwhelm us. I know, do it anyway. 50 human ships turned their weapons on the dreadnought. They hit it from every angle, punched through its armor. Missiles detonated against its engines. Marines boarded it and fought their way to the reactor core. The dreadnought fell in flames. It crashed into the Pacific Ocean, creating waves that reached 300 meters high. But the human fleet was weakened. They pressed their advantage. Day 4, Day 5. Humans died by the thousands. Ships burned. Stations fell. But for every human who died, they took 10 with them. On day 6, Captain led the final assault on command ship. Her Marines were exhausted. Many were wounded. They had been fighting for almost a week without rest. But when she gave the order to attack, not one of them hesitated. They breached the hull and fought their way inward. They threw everything they had at them: elite guards, automated defenses, traps and ambushes. It did not matter. Reached the bridge with only 7 Marines left. She was bleeding from cuts on her face and arms. Her armor was cracked. Her rifle was out of ammunition. Supreme Commander waited for her, surrounded by his personal guard. You have fought well, admitted, but you cannot win. Even if you kill me, more will come. We will never stop. Raised her sidearm. Maybe, but you will be dead, and whoever comes next will know what we are capable of. His guards attacked, and her Marines met them. The fighting was brutal. Marines fell. Blood covered the floor. When it was over, stood alone before. Her weapon was empty. Her armor was destroyed. She could barely stand. Raised his blade. Any last words, human? Looked him in the eyes. Yield. Laughed. The do not yield. We conquer or we die. Then you have already lost. Straightened despite her wounds. Because we survive. That is what we do. That is all we have ever done. You can kill me. You can kill millions of us. But you will never break us. Never. She held out her hand. Yield, end this. Save what is left of your people. Stared at her hand. He had conquered dozens of species. He had killed millions. He had never been offered mercy. Slowly, he lowered his blade. "How do you do it?" he asked quietly. "How do you keep fighting when all hope is lost?" Smiled, blood running down her face. "We are human. We do not need hope. We only need each other." Took her hand. So the war ended. The Galactic Assembly, the Sol Accords 1 month later. The Dominion released all conquered territories. A new era began, with humanity at its center. Ambassador Telos spoke to the assembly. "We called for aid," he said. "We expected nothing. What came was a people who looked at the darkness between stars and refused to let it win. They call they are wrong. Earth is not a world of death. It is a world that learned to live against all odds and chose to share that gift with the rest of us." On Earth, Admiral retired. Commander took her place. Lieutenant received a medal she did not want. Captain requested a transfer to diplomatic security. She was tired of fighting. But in shipyards across the solar system, construction continued. New ships, better weapons, stronger defenses. Humanity knew the truth now. The galaxy was vast and dangerous. There would always be another threat. But Earth had endured ice ages, asteroid impacts, mass extinctions, world wars. It would endure this too. And the next time the darkness came calling, humanity would be ready. The stars belonged to everyone now, and humans would make sure it stayed that way.